who's going to be happy, who's not going to be happy with this document?
Well, I think anybody interested in the housing market, there should eventually be some benefit, but these things take time. It takes time to build a condo development, so probably not anything imminent. In terms of benefit there, and certainly as we mentioned, doctors, people concerned about business investment, that kind of thing, are not going to be happy. People concerned about having the finances and better fiscal health for the future, I think there'll be some concern there.
Let's also talk about the fiscal guardrails here, because the Liberals have kept to it. Essentially what was released in the fall economic statement is what we're looking at here. Is that a good enough measure?
The government will say yes, economists will say no, because I think a lot of economists and those who talk about fiscal responsibility don't just want to see more spending offset by higher taxes. They want to see no increase of spending. Their argument is the government has already spent a lot of money over the last 8 years, and at a time when inflation is still above target.
Bill, what would you say to that?
Well, I thought it was interesting. On one of her metrics, she said the size of the federal deficit for the year that just ended would not be any higher than $40.1 billion, and it came in at $40.0 billion. So, she's just barely meeting that particular target. And then on the debt to GDP, we're going to be hovering around the 40%. Prior to the pandemic, we were moving toward closer to 30%. So you'll have a lot of economists who are saying it would be better to be closer to 30%, so you've got the room next time there's a pandemic or a recession. And so, as a government, they're not doing that. They're not, putting room aside for the next emergency, but she is delivering on the targets that she had set for herself in November.
Yeah, I thought about that as well, because I do wonder just how insulated is this budget to any type of shock. This is all, we're going to grow revenues by increased economic activity beyond the taxes. But if there's a shock, how well budgeted is this document?
There isn't a lot of fiscal room. You look at the share of how much government spending is as share of GDP. It's at a historic high. I think a good analogy that an economist said today was that the government spending is speeding, but it's staying below the government's self-imposed speeding limit.